So I like Reclaim. Don't get me wrong, it's nothing special, but that's part of what makes it good. Reclaim is based in one of my and many others' favourite patrol zone, the Plaguelands, albeit without Siva, and it's just a really simple and straightforward activity. You start in one zone, complete objectives and kill enemies to score points, and once you reach 1000, it's time to go to the next zone. After 3 runs, it's time for the boss. You can go through it pretty fast with a competent team, which made it even nicer for grinding. That being said, the fact that Reclaim and the exotic mission was all we got in the Edge of Fate major update was both a little boring and very disappointing. There was also, at the time, pre-versions of Reclaim, which was a little odd because they were basically the same, just with a different starting zone. They were also featured right at the top of Fireteam Ops, taking space from other activities. I don't know about anybody else, but I just selected the first Reclaim on the left just because it was the first and fundamentally no different to the others. I think the overall issue a lot of people had with Reclaim, minus the fact that it was just repurposed areas from Destiny 1, was that Reclaim didn't offer anything unique past the first week, which was and sort of still is an issue across the portal. That is not much of an issue currently because bonus drops now grant power, which incentivizes playing other activities. But at the time, that was not a thing, so it had no unique weapons and you couldn't take advantage of bonus drops for power leveling either. There were definitely better options if you were just there to farm weapons and armor, but as I said at the beginning, this was an incredibly simple and straightforward activity. Simply, it was a chill time, so that sort of made up for the main issues. My overall personal issue is completely different. My issue is the fact that Reclaim was just an activity, when it could have been so much more.
So much more!
The story of the Reclaim activity, which is about a few sentences long, is that we are defending Earth from the Conductor's forces by claiming Golden Age salvage before they do. The fallen House of Dusk can also be seen engaging with the Conductor's forces, and they have banners in certain areas, so it's very likely that they have taken part of the Plaguelands for themselves. Now let's look at the name of the activity, Reclaim. We are reclaiming the Plaguelands from our enemies. This isn't something that happens in a single night. Imagine if Reclaim launched as a patrol zone, so each zone was connected. The gameplay would essentially be unchanged, and you would go from one zone to the other, completing objectives and kills until you have reached the threshold to encounter a boss. At that point, a hawk would appear in each zone, allowing you and anybody else that really wishes to help to fly to an area with the boss. So that people can't just AFK and wait for a boss to spawn, completing the required objectives and kills would grant you a Vex key, which could be used to gain additional rewards. That way, people have incentive to do the objectives, but can also quickly help with a boss to gain a little bit of gear. This would bring something back to Destiny which I feel like has been missing for quite a while, a shared, living world. This is what Destiny was built on, and as of recent years, it feels like the game has slowly been moving away from that. The last match-made patrol zone we had was with Neomuna in Lightfall. The final shape would mark the beginning of a solo patrol experience, with the exception of Overthrow enabling matchmaking in one specific area. Kepler from Edge of Fate would follow suit, though with no matchmaking whatsoever, and Renegades has no patrol zone at all, so no problem there. I want that shared, living world back in Destiny, and I'm sure that a lot of people feel the same. We could even go a step further with our patrol zone Reclaim and make use of the world tier system introduced with Edge of Fate, which so far has not been reused. These tiers could directly correlate to the tier of gear that you receive. Of course, this isn't a perfect idea, but it's a starting point. Finally, this could even be tied into the exotic mission. At the time, we knew that the exotic mission wasn't ready for release, but imagine if after reclaiming part of the Plaguelands, which would be a community effort, the exotic mission opened up. Turns out, the Conductor's forces were just to act as bait to distract you and the Vanguard from getting too close to their true intentions, which was to invade a Warmind facility and do some time travel shenanigans. Now you must chase her forces down before it's too late. With that, we've at least connected the two activities together. Overall, I do like Reclaim. It's what I would call a casual activity, which is what I began to miss with the launch of Edge of Fate. That being said, Reclaim, while being good enough, could have been so much better. Thank you for listening to me yap about Reclaim. This was just something I thought about during a slow day at work. As always, thank you for watching, have a great day.